Welcome, Namaskar, to our beautiful Thursday. Very charged up. Thursdays are always so beautiful. Guru Bar. This is the Guru's Day. Today, we're going to have a short interaction of though so-called the Independence Day of the 15th August is just gone past the 77th. But we are in that independence time. And I wish to share with you some of the thought processes that we talked about. What exactly is this independence? We know from the torment and the oppressions from the foreigners, and the foreign power came and invaded India. And India was the richest Sone Kachiriya. All of us have read it in our school days. And thereafter, the wealth of India were taken away, so-called, by the foreign invasion. But you know what? Houston Smith, a great world historian and a follower of Vivekananda Ramakrishna Paramahansa, he went on to become. They do not agree. They say India's wealth is still today, still the richest in the world. And today you can see that how India is shooting ahead. So what is this then independence? The true independence is from you and me, from within our own self. This darkness of all the time thinking that I am tied up with this body, this is me, and this is Robbin Ghosh, and this is the mind, and I'm like that, and name, form, and my function, and my appointment. And that exactly is the operation from which we have to dive down within and discover that wealth from within is the true independence, is why our journey with Vedanta and with this spiritual journey. Spirituality and religion. Remember, SBNR, spiritual but not religious, is the latest drive today all over the youngsters in the world. They're all saying, we like spirituality, we like to develop, we like to know ourselves, but not religion. Why? Because they find that the adults and the elders are fighting away, killing each other in the name of religion. The religion cannot bring that disharmony, and this is the independence. And because of this lack of independence, that we are today not realizing who we truly are, and we are seeking, searching what that satisfaction out there. And this is what it means, India in bondage. It is not true that the others are not. So are too the others. But you and I are the ancient Bharatiya. Bha is Brahma Jyoti, and Rata is those who are immersed in that Brahma Jyoti. Where is yours and my Brahma Jyoti today? Today too busy. You were too busy copying the Western and the Western American and the English and the traditional styles, and we have forgotten our ancient India's powerful Bharat Mata. This journey is within, and that's the true independence, in which I would like you to take you back a little bit of the history of the Indian independence. You know that India used to have, as per Bhagavad Gita, God talks to Arjuna, chapter 2, verse 32, page 246. Just read the second para, and goes on to say that India used to create the best product, the best artifacts than anywhere in Asia or in the West. We were the best, and that is how India became the center of the Silk Route, west to China and China to west. We were in the center, and they used to pick up and trade, and India became the richest in the world. And even today, once we understand this wealth, India is once again shooting ahead. And as per the prediction that by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation called Shift is happening in YouTube. shift is happening. There is a shift, and goes on to say that by 2024 to 2028, just one more year to go, India is going to shoot past China and America, and by 2028 will be firmly established to be the superpower. And as per the prediction of Lectures from Colombo to Almora by Swami Vivekananda in page 3 and 4, Swamiji says that India will never slide back again. India will continue to stay higher. And do you know what? Same page 246, chapter 2, verse 31. Bhagavad Gita, Paramahansa Yogananda is writing. And in the chapter 4 and 5, it says, the world religion historian Houston Smith recalls that India, would conquer her conquerors in the 21st century. And India the conquered. We were conquered by the British oppression. 326 BC, Alexander the Great came and raided India. And then came the Genghis Khan and Tamerlane and Babur, Akbar, Humayun, Aurangzeb. We all have read it in the history. And then came the Portuguese, the Zoroastrians, and the French and the Britishers. Did you ever think why India? Why did everybody come to India? Because we were the richest. Like everybody goes to America and Europe and Australia these days because it's supposed to be the richest in the world. India was the richest. And once again, Make in India drive by our political leaders and our Indians are tremendous. The most important brain tank of the world today are the Indians. Any country you go down, the top people in that country are Indian. This is who we are, Bharatiya. Do you know that there is somebody called Ankit Dupera? Ankit Dupera. He's a French young guy, just 24, 25-year-old. He was an Indologist, wanted to study Indian. And he knew that the Zoroastrians from Persia has shifted to India, and a large chunk of Zoroastrian. And they had brought down a book. The name of the book was Zenda Vesta. Zenda Vesta. I'll repeat that. Zenda Vesta carried the secrets of all other religion, like Christianity, including Islam. How did it all start? And Judaism, and of course, Zoroastrians. So, he wanted to come down and study Zenda Vesta. As he was looking around, searching around, he came across a book called Upanishad. You know, you've heard about Aurangzeb and you know about Dara Shikoh. His elder brother. Dara Shikoh was very fond of Indian spiritual text. He happened to lay his hand on Upanishad, and he told the Banaras, the Pandits, to translate it with Dara Shikoh specialists in Persian language. And this was translated in Persian. Dara Shikoh got assassinated by Aurangzeb for the kingdom. Though he died, but Upanishad was lying around in Persian language. Zenda Vesta search by Ankit Dupera, he picked up this translated Persian, took it to France, and he got it translated into Latin. And do you know, this book in Latin landed up in dry Latin in none other than Arthur Schopenhauer. Schopenhauer, those days, great philosopher. Schopenhauer says that he named it Upanishad, not Upanishad, Upanishad. And Upanishad, he says, is the solace of my life. I cannot sleep without reading a few lines from Upanishad, and it will be solace of my death. Wonderful books are written today. Even Thompson, today, modern day, he is the professor of philosophy in British Columbia University in Canada. And this book is called Waking, Dreaming, Being. You know what is it? It's the translation of none other than Mandukya Upanishad. Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. Waking, dreaming, deep sleep, and Thorium, which is being. That consciousness, Thoriya, fourth. All of you are now well familiar with the Mandukya terms with us. He translated it. And he goes on to write a beautiful sentence. This is Evan Thompson, professor of philosophy, British Columbia University. He says that the essence of the world performances today is in the messages of 1,000 years old from Upanishad. And it will be better that instead of in history judging before Christ, Anno Domino, or after Christ, BC and AD, instead of Anno Domino and BC, we should say before Upanishad and after Upanishad. Can you imagine? This is the power of the Upanishad, and you and I are not realizing the wealth. And today, in the world around, the world top philosophers, particularly in the West, in the Harvard called HDS, Harvard Divinity School. And David Clooney is the heading that particular college, and they're all doing research on Vedanta. And NYU, New York University, Ned Block, David Chalmers, our Mind Brain Consciousness unit. David Chalmers, Australian, is the head of the department. It's wonderful to know. You know what they're doing? They're saying, let globalize Vedanta. Hey, dear devotees, you and I need to start off in this journey. Today, Sister Nivedita writes after Vivekananda passes away. He said, do you know why Vivekananda went 1893, 11th of September to United States? He went to carry the same Vedanta, the message of ancient 1,000 years old India, Bharat, to the West and give it to the people, remove their suffering, remove this ignorance and racing for material more and more. And she says, Sister Nivedita says that Vivekananda's message first was to carry the message of India, bring India to the world map and give it to the West. And you know, he became the topmost, and 12th of January by India has been declared as the International Youth Day today. Now, the second message, Vivekananda wanted to send it back to India, because Indians were, remember, 16th century onwards, Tamilong, Genghis Khan, Babur, Akbar, Humayun, Aurangzeb, Portuguese, Zoroastrian, and then French and British. British 1650 made East India Company in India. In the British ship trading, they wanted to rule and looted Indian wealth. And they tried to change the education system. And Lord Macaulay came under the guidance from Queen Victoria, go down to India. You know when? 1893. And he went back in 1895 and gave a presentation to the British Columbia, to the English, the Parliament, British Parliament, saying India cannot be ruled. Can you believe? Lord Macaulay said, Your Majesty, India cannot be ruled. She said, what? Aren't you bringing so much of wealth? He said, yes, we can rob them. We can rob them, R-O-B, but we cannot rule them. She said, why? He said, if you want to rule, I have a secret. Change their education system so that Indians think everything which is Western, everything which is from foreign country is better than the Indian Upanishad. And Indians fell for it. Right from our independent Prime Minister Nehru, Babu Gandhi, Abdul Kalam, and everybody went to England to study, to learn. Those days they had to understand, and the wisdom and the knowledge. but they forgot to keep the Sanskrit and the Upanishads alive in India. So it went away. Sanskrit is more or less forgotten. Slowly it is emerging. You'll be surprised. In Ireland, they're teaching Sanskrit to the tiny children in the kindergarten schools. Right from there. So, coming back, Henry David Thoreau, Walt Whitman, Thomas Alva Edison. You know, these people, what happened is that 1894, 1895 onwards, Vivekananda started Vedanta 1894 in New York, Manhattan. And subsequently, the others went down and started off. And they caught the smart guys in America. And the smart guys taught the rest of the Americans. And those are the smart guys are Henry David Thoreau, Walt Whitman, Thomas Alva Edison, the biggest inventor. You know, I used to think Thomas Alva Edison, I'll tell you the story some other time. Thomas Alva Edison is the biggest inventor till today. And do you know what? He was declared in his school days that he is adult and he's hyperactive, ADHD children, and school threw him out. Mother taught him. Mother was an ex-teacher. And I thought he had done 396 invention. The other day I went into the Google and found patented Thomas Alva Edison as the 1095 invention. Can you believe? One person. Such smart people. William James, Tesla, another great scientist. Paul Dyson, Max Muller, great, who came down to India with the German, the literature, German language in a Max Muller Bhavan. Philip Goldberg has written a beautiful book. Right now, currently he's there. American Veda. I've showed you that book. We have it shared with you. There, American Veda, Philip Goldberg is saying that the monks of India like Vivekananda and etc. went and taught the smart Americans, and the smart Americans taught the rest of them. And Jeffrey Long is right now. Paul Newman. You know Paul Newman? Paul Newman is the guy who's the famous Star Trek. He took the Vedantic idea of making yoga. Jeffrey Long gives this talk. He's the current philosophy professor. You know, in that somewhere 19th century, B.K. Iyengar, Tapta Vijay, Krishna Macharya, they all went without any backing, any money, any government support to US and set up such a big yogic march. And the whole West world today is flooding with it. You know what? There's one of the young Vedantist brahmachari. He is not a monk. He is not a brahmachari as in taken of yoga as in and renounced the world. He has not. He's very much, in Manhattan. He is earning millions of dollars and helping his employer earning millions of dollars. And he rings up. He is currently, he had this question. He rang up his father in India. He said, Father, you spend all your life, sacrifice everything, you and mother, just to bring me up. I studied with the divine grace. I done very well. Today I am earning per month which you have not earned in your whole life. But tell me, Father, I have a house in US, I have a house in India which you all are living in today with the divine grace. But tell me, I have everything. Now what? He's 27, 28 years of age. He's asking his father, now what, Father? An Indian from Manhattan, US is ringing up his father in India. Now what? And he goes on to telling me, Sir, now that I've started studying Upanishad, I start to realize another world is existing. So welcome to this world, dear devotee. You know what is our journey going to be this next Sunday? We are going to take on Mundaka Upanishad. And in that Mundaka Upanishad, you go to, Mandakya Upanishad and Mundaka Upanishad. They both are from Atharva Veda. And this is Mandukya Upanishad is the smallest out of the 108, and of which Shankaracharya chose 11 of them, and those 11 Upanishads, of which Mandukya is the smallest. And remember, Hanumanji was asked by Ramachandran, what do you think of me? Hanumanji says, Deha buddhya dasoham. When I think of myself as a body, like when I think I'm this body, name, form, function, I'm your servant. Jiva buddhya, when I think I'm a sentient being, meaning I've got a name, intellect, memory, etc., I'm your part. Atma buddhya tameva aham. The Ramachandran was asked by Hanumanji, Atma buddhya, when I look at myself as a spirit, you and I are not separate, we are one. Remember the waves and the ocean, the water and the ocean, and the water and the wave? We'll again touch upon it in depth. So Hanumanji asked Ramachandran, Sri Ram, how do I attain moksha? And Ramachandran tells him, Sri Ram tells him, Mandukya Upanishad ekame balam mumukshaye vimukte. Mumukshaye vimukte. It will make you liberate. Just one Upanishad. We have covered Mandukya Upanishad at length. Let me tell you the names of it. Goes in a beautiful rhyme. It goes Ishakena Katha Prashna Mandukya Mundakya Taittariya Aitariya Chandakya Brihadaranyakya Itisari. This is how it goes on a slime. It is Isha Kena Katha Prashna. Mundakya, Mandakya. So we will touch upon Mundakya. Mandakya we have done. And then we'll take on Katha Upanishad and Isha Upanishad. Taittariya, Aitariya, Chandakya, Brihadaranyakya. So Brihadaranyakya is huge Upanishad. And so is Chandakya Upanishad. Chandakya and Brihadaranyakya are very thick, big one. Mandukya is the smallest one. And you know Mundakya Upanishad, you know about our national flag, you know our Ashoka pillar. It's written something. Recollect what is written on our Ashoka Stambha. Satyameva Jayati. That is from Mundakya Upanishad, which we are going to cover. So welcome to this world, and lots of things beautiful. Globalize our Upanishad Vedanta to the world. Let's spread it. Slowly learn it, spread it to the next guy and to the next guy and spread it. And just watch. You know what happens? When you embrace Vedanta, anything that you think of, dream of, it becomes yours. Shanti Mantra. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. That is Purna. This is Purna. From Purna comes Purna. Purnat, like a seed gives the birth to a plant. That Purna gives birth Purna. But that Purna and this Purna are same, not different. That Purna is Ishvara, God. This Purna is you and I. Reflect, think. Tremendous message. My pranam. Namaskar to the Brahman in you.